From New York to Accra, Pop's 100 camp, a success or not?
Definitely a success. Whenever you can have an opportunity to reach these kids, it's a successful moment. And over these last 2 days, we were able to work with these kids, develop their skills, develop their life skills too, to help them as young boys and girls to become young men and women in Ghana. So it's all about inspiring and pouring back into the youth so that they can one day become great leaders, not only in Ghana, but on the continent.
I mean, you came up with this project with something in mind. Do you think you were able to achieve it?
Well, we won't know until it's achieved until years later. This is not something that we would see the fruits of our labor in a day, a year, or even a month. It's going to be something where in 3, 5, 7 years we can see what that investment, what we did in cultivating this youth, and seeing how they were able to blossom into great young leaders in Africa too. So we'll know in a few years. But again, I saw some kids that were at our camp in 2019, and they came back again. And these 2 young girls told me the day they fell in love with basketball was at my last camp. So hearing that means I've already reached one person. So we want to reach as many as we can, but that means what we're doing, we're going in the right direction. So I'm excited about that.
Talking about right direction, what was the first problem you identified before you actually started this project?
Infrastructure and resources. That was one of the first 2 problems I noticed, that there's a culture here. There's a big culture of basketball here. There's a big ecosystem, but there's nothing that helps these kids. There's no infrastructure, there's no funding, there's no resources to help these kids cultivate their talent and even play the game. A lot of the courts over here, they don't have lights at night, so they can only play until it gets dark. There's no PE curriculum in the school. So how do we promote these kind of things if there's no position or place or environment for them to utilize this kind of stuff? So I want to make sure that changes moving forward.
So talking about changes, I mean, aside Pop's 100 camp, are we looking at you building basketball courts with lights? Because you did mention that courts no lights, so are we looking at that?
I fully intend to not only build these players, we're going to build the coaches, the sports performance staff, the medical staff, the referees. We're going to build more courts. We're going to get lights on courts. That's what the resources and the infrastructure is we're talking about. We're going to develop a league. We're going to help these coaches and help these kids continue to grow and develop so that one day Ghana is going to be on the forefront of not only basketball, but sports in general on the continent and the world.
Talking about the continent, okay, let's move to Ghana. You did mention there's a culture of basketball here. On the scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it?
The culture?
Yeah.
I would say it's closer to a 10. The culture. But the culture is nothing unless it's cultivated. You understand what I'm saying? A seed can't grow unless you water it. So we planting these seeds, we have to allow it to grow. We have to give it the right fuel. And that water is the resources and infrastructure that the powers that be can provide.
So the MVPs for this tournament, what have they done next?
Oh, I mean, it's the recognition that, we notice their games and their skills and development, and we want them to keep working. We're going to recognize that, but these camps are only going to be twice a year. We're trying to get the consistency and the sustainability and a scalable ecosystem that these kids can continually work and hone their skills, so that there's not just the 2 camps that we have a year that they get the opportunity for this. No, we want to give them full access and exposure to this level of training and development.
So finally from you, are we going to see a partnership with
53.
Well, the Knicks were gracious enough to provide some of the gear for the players. So if you look at their socks, their socks came from the New York Knicks. So they provided a whole lot of gear for these players. So ultimately, yes, we'll see.
We know you to be into the movie business. I mean, what draws you to basketball?
Well, as someone who is in the limelight, you tend to be a role model to people. I'm happy to be such a person that young people look up to. So it was actually a really big pleasure for me to be invited here. Listen, I had so much fun. I haven't done something like this, especially an activity like this in a very long time. It was so much fun. The kids have so much energy. The way they brought out the energy in me, I would do this again anytime. Yeah, Yeah, why not? I mean, that's not the only thing I do. I am an influencer too. So the acting gigs come, the influencing gigs are coming more. So whatever comes my way, you see more of me.
And more skits?
Yes.
President, how do we use this? You were here with Deborah. How do we use this medium with your influence to sell basketball to the diaspora and even to Ghana and Africa?
Well, I think we've already started. Pops has already started something really good. It's a good initiative because it's going to draw the kids out more. I think kids, when we were children, we would come out to play. The girls would play amp and everything. But I think kids nowadays just stay at home. They're either on their phones or playing video games. So, inviting celebrities, people they look up to, people they see on TV, who they probably would not see in situations like this, out would be able to draw these kids out more because they know that after they play the games they'll be able to interact with us, and yeah.